Hey everybody, and welcome to your instructional video on shoulder CARs, or controlled articular rotations. Now, a couple things just in general about CARs. Number one, we never want to push into pain. So if you experience some discomfort, it doesn't mean don't move, it just means make your workspace or your movement pattern a little bit smaller. Number two, we want to make sure that we really try to isolate or disassociate the joint of interest. So as we move the shoulder, we want to just move the shoulder. Okay, it's very common for the shoulder to start to have a little bit of opening of the torso or the chest, or a little bit of involvement of even the lower body. So we want to be aware of that. And lastly, we want to make sure we irradiate. So create that light tension across the body from head to toe. The better we do that, the better the joint will start to respond. Now, the shoulder is a pretty interesting joint in the body. It's essentially one of the two ball and socket joints in addition to the hips. So when we talk about the shoulder, it's really dynamic and it should be able to move in a lot of different directions. But if we don't use it, we do lose it. And that really applies to our range of motion, which also applies to our strength in certain positions of how we can move the shoulder around. Now, when we talk about the shoulder, there's a lot of different ways that it can move. So you can externally rotate the shoulder by taking the hand back. You can internally rotate the shoulder by driving the hand down. You can adduct by bringing it across the body. You can abduct by taking it to the outside. You can take it behind you into extension, or you can take it upwards towards the top of the head in flexion. So there are a lot of different ways, and then everything in between that the shoulder can do based on how it actually goes into its socket. Now, we want to make sure that we target all of those different areas and positions as we perform our shoulder CARs. So we're going to walk through it on the right side without any type of irradiation. And I'm going to do it from a kneeling position so you can make sure that you see the top of my hand. Feel free to do this standing, kneeling, in a chair, whatever works for you. It's actually a really adaptable movement. Again, just focusing on those simple generalities. Now, when we get started, I'm actually going to put my hands facing forward, fingers lightly together. So my right arm is straight, palm faces forward, fingers lightly together. I'm going to start by bringing the arm slightly across the body as far as I can, as long as my palm faces upwards. As it comes up, my bicep is going to start to go past my nose, and I'm going to take it up into my current range of flexion. Okay, so that means hand upwards, palm facing the head. What I'm watching for is my rib cage lifting or not? I want to make sure that stays down so that I'm really focusing on what my actual range of flexion is. When I hit that end range in flexion, I'm going to focus on rotating at the shoulder. Now, everything else is going to rotate. I don't want to rotate with the hand because that hand is really connected to the elbow, so it's more of an elbow rotation. I want to focus really at the shoulder and trying to rotate it as far around as I can. Then I'm going to start to reach back, continuing to rotate until the thumb faces backwards and the back of the hand eventually comes by the thigh. Then we'll repeat in the opposite direction. We'll take it straight back in extension. We'll pause. We'll rotate again at the shoulder, all the way around as far as I can. I'm then going to bring it up, carving out as much space so that the palm faces the head at the top. The bicep goes past the nose again, the palm is to the ceiling, and I bring it back down. So if you wanted to take a second, you can rewind the video and kind of work through those movements. Otherwise, we're going to do a couple on the right side and then switch around and do a couple on the left side. All right, so from a kneeling position, I like to push my hand into the knee. If you're standing, you can actually take a tennis ball and have it in this position. You can also use it in the same position from a chair. So whatever makes most sense to you, feel free to go with it. All right, I'm going to take a breath, pack air in my lower abdomen, work it down my lower body. My toes are clenching into the floor on my left foot. My back foot is pushing into the floor. Right arm is straight, palm faces forward, fingers lightly together. I'm going to slowly begin to bring the arm across the body, palm to the ceiling, and I'm acting as if someone is pushing lightly down on my hand. As it comes up, bicep goes past the nose into my current range of flexion. I'm going to watch that rib cage, go as high as I can, pause, rotate at the shoulder, continuing to reach back, carving out as much space as I can, continuing to rotate until the thumb faces backwards, back of the hand by the thigh. We'll change direction. Take it straight back and pause. Rotate at the shoulder all the way around, pulling it up, trying to get it up as high as I can. Palm faces head at the top, bicep goes past the nose, palm to the ceiling, and back down. Now, as I mentioned, the shoulder is one of those joints where if you don't use it, you lose it. So if your range of motion doesn't look quite like mine, but you come up and you start to feel discomfort, just don't go up quite so high. Come up, follow, and trace along that path that works best for you, continuing to focus on isolating the joint. With practice and consistency, you may find that your movement pattern begins to expand a little bit. You may even start to experience a little less pain. It's totally dependent on the quality and the tissue at the joint. Let's go round number 2 on the right side. I'll face the camera this time. Take a breath. Pack air in the lower abdomen, work it down to the floor. Right arm is straight, palm faces forward, fingers lightly together. Bringing the hand and arm across the body, palm to the ceiling. As it comes up, bicep is going to go past the nose. Watching that rib cage, going into my natural range of flexion. I'm going to pause, rotate at the shoulder, reaching back, continuing to rotate until the thumb faces backwards, back of the hand by the thigh. I'm going to take it straight back and pause. I'm going to rotate at the shoulder, bring it around as far as I can, reaching back, carving out as much space as possible. Palm faces head at the top, bicep goes past the nose, palm to the ceiling, and back down. Very good. All right, we'll go to the left side. I'm going to switch my feet around. We'll start facing forward this time. This time, left arm is straight, palm faces forward, fingers lightly together. Take a breath. Pack air in the lower abdomen, work it down to the toes, up the torso, potentially into the hand, or if you're holding a ball, go ahead and take it there. We're going to bring the arms slightly across the body as far as I can, palm facing upwards. That's the key part. Bicep is going to go past the nose into your current range of flexion. Watch the rib cage. When you get there, pause. Rotate at the shoulder, now reaching back, rotating until the thumb faces backwards, back of the hand by the thigh. We'll change direction, take it straight back, pause, rotate the arm around, bringing it back up, carving out as much space as we can. Palm is going to face the head at the top, bicep goes past the nose, palm to the ceiling, and back down. Very good. All right, we'll do it from the side. Take a breath, pack air in the lower abdomen, left arm is straight, palm faces forward, fingers lightly together. Bring the arm across the body, palm to the ceiling, slowly bringing it up, bicep goes past the nose. In your current range of flexion, we'll pause, rotate around at the shoulder, reaching back, carving out as much space as we can, continuing to rotate until the thumb faces backwards, back of the hand by the thigh. We'll take it straight back and pause, rotate around at the shoulder, bringing it up, carving out space, palm faces the head at the top, bicep goes past the nose, palm to the ceiling, and slowly back down. Very good, everybody. Okay, so again, the shoulders, super important. As always, never push into pain. For a lot of people, the shoulder is one of those joints where we start to have some limitations, and we want to make sure that we take it cautiously and we're just appropriate with our current mobility and workspace. So again, if you start to come up and it doesn't look like mine, don't worry. Work with what you're currently able to do. That's what's first priority, number 1. So again, if it comes up and the workspace looks like this, no problem. Keep working with that. Continue to practice on a daily basis, and you might be amazed at how much improvement you can actually see in a pretty short amount of time. Now, if you have any questions about shoulder cars, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Have a great day, everybody.